What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video, another day, another dollar with your boy. And we're going to be breaking down our futures contract per usual. We're going to break down our 30-minute time frame. Then we'll break down the monthly, the weekly, and the daily time frames. Just kind of give them a brief overview. We're not going to try to take too long on today's video. Usually these videos run about 20 minutes long. Today I'm going to try to just kind of push through and get to our final conclusion of the day. We have Good Friday tomorrow, so happy Easter to all. Hopefully you all have a good weekend. It is a 3-day weekend, so we will be trading back on Monday. Tomorrow is off, so hopefully you guys aren't trying to trade tomorrow. I, for one, completely forgot that tomorrow was Good Friday and that we were closing out the week early. We do have PCE data releasing tomorrow, but once again, there will pretty much be mute reaction because there will be no trading tomorrow. Overall, today was, I guess, for the most part, a positive outlook for the buyers. We opened above the price spike from yesterday, right? Remember, we had the price spike above right here at 52.94. We've pushed back above 5,300 and pretty much created a wide point of control right around yesterday's high. We traded back and forth through yesterday's high, just kind of small, choppy, rotational. I wouldn't even say rotational. It was just like a slow move up, only to have a slow move down, to have another slow move back up, only for late in the day, M period, after setting a new high on the day, missing the balance high, all-time high up here. Finally, just kind of giving it all up. Came in, got, what was it, 12 wide, 11 wide, 11 wide. Got 11 wide here at 11.75. So 11 time frames traded back and forth through that price. 11 out of the 13 time frames traded back and forth through there. So in period, once it came back in, there were a couple of times that we bounced right around that area, which was basically VWAP 144. Was all around that same area. We pushed up a couple times, came back down, pushed back up, was kind of bouncing on it like a trampoline for the most part in the M period. And then late in the last few seconds of the trading day, we just gave it all up, pushed lower, took out the day's low. So basically, the last 30 minutes of the day is the entire trading day's range. So I don't know what that will mean come Monday. But basically, the high and the low was set in M period, the last 30-minute time frame of the day. Curly, Larry, and Mo, the last three of the 30-minute time frames, tend to do crazy things, and Mo, good old M period, never fails to impress. Yesterday it impressed us with this big spike up. Today, to take out both the high and the low of day, all in the same time frame, is absolutely impressive. Very minimal trading for me today. The only trades I did take, believe it or not, were on the short side. I was just comfortable taking shorts, even though we had higher value. We'd gotten the overnight high, but only by a little bit. If we look here, the overnight high, where was it? The overnight high was, I believe, before the open. Yeah, overnight high was at 53.12.50. We'd taken it out, but only by a little bit. We took it out by about 4 points. And not only did we not take out the overnight high by much and really kind of get trend up, we were beginning to create wide points of control. And then balance rules came into effect. All right. So remember the balance rules. Today, we have tested our balance high, right? We have tested our balance high. And I think I'm going to join Paul and bringing my balance up to the low from the 26th. Right here, 52.63, and then the balance high being 53.22.75. For those of you that watched yesterday's video, I was saying how my balance low was going to be here at 52.33, just kind of give the range a little bit more wide, a little bit more space to breathe. But since we are remaining in balance today, going into the long weekend, I think I'm going to tighten it up, use this 52.63 as the balance low, and use 53.22 as the balance high. And so far, balance rules have played well. Yesterday, if you were using this low down here at 63, We tested a balanced low, got within 8 points, rotated higher. Guess what? We're testing the other side of that range, got within literally a point and a couple and a little bit of change, a point and a couple points of change here. So got right near the balance high and then rolled over. So what does this mean come Monday? Well, we really won't know until we get to trading and how we open. But this could mean for a little while we could continue to chop back and forth between that low there at 52.63 and the high here at 53.2275 until we come out of it one way or the other. We would like to see this. Get that out of here for those of you who game. What we would like to see is this push above the balance high and begin to one time frame up. We really haven't seen that today. We didn't see much continuity or really any tempo to the upside. Same on the downside, really wasn't much tempo until late in the day. So come Monday, we'll just have to see how that trades. So nonetheless, still positive for the buyers. Like I said, I only shorted today just because we were against that balance high area. I was short here around 14s. I added some at 16 to come back into point of control. Basically, was looking to get back to D's low here around 53.10. It came in. I got out of the trade, and that was the only trade. Could I have held for a little bit longer? Yes, but I did not know if this market wanted to attempt to come out balanced to the upside and hold above the previous day's high, eventually get some legs to the upside. Yes, I could have made more money on that, but you could have also, on the flip side, if I was somebody looking for a long, could have taken a long against the day's low, and not only could have taken a long against the day's low, I could have been taking a long against the overnight low. Overnight low was at 53.01. All right, overnight low is at 53.01. Use maybe 5,300 as my out. I'm long 53.05. I'm risking 5 points to rotate. Maybe let's see if we go and test the other side of the day's high up here at 53.16. So I'm risking 5 points to make 10 points, 11 points on the upside. Was a great risk reward trade there. And you could have taken that trade a few times actually against the previous day's low, or against, not the previous day's low, but against the low here at 53.05, 5,300. You could have taken that trade and made a couple points out of that as well. And then I did get short in M period up here after we had failed to take out the previous time frame's high by much. We really didn't have much tempo. We had failed to get the balance high, and we came in a little bit. I was like, you know what? Let me get short and let's see if we rotate back down to point of control down here at 53.1175. Now, I was not looking for a new low in the day. So once we got near my target of 53.1175, I was short a 10 lot here. Basically 53.1750 is where I was short. As we came in, I got out of that trade at 53.12 and 53.1175. Hit my target to the T. So I was very happy to get out of that. And obviously you see here on the 1 minute chart, you know, good area to get out, right? We had the 144 something moving average right there. Not only was that, we had point of control there. Sometimes that does provide a good fade opportunity against the point of control to bounce and maybe make a new high, except for today, we kind of just ripped through it and made a new low on the day in the last couple minutes of the day. So was happy on that. Made out on the day, basically 74, 75 points, something like that on the day, which is great for me, especially considering we're still in a balance. So let's go ahead and mark today's high, today's low, and then go ahead and look at the larger time frames. I do believe we have a inside week, so we'll look at that here shortly. And then basically we're still one time framing up. We're one time framing up in the monthly. We're one time framing up in the weekly with an inside week this week, I do believe. So we'll look to come out of that to the upside. If not, then maybe the downside, which would not be very good look for the bulls, but not unhealthy at all. And then the daily is clearly still in a balance between the areas that I just finished discussing about. We do have an 11 wide point of control right here. 11 Y point of control. So we are still creating Y points of control within this range. So the question that whenever we see Y points of control like this in an area or in the same range, my question is, are there potentially swing trader longs that have been divvying out little by little some of their long position, some of their long swing positions that they took, maybe established a long time ago at lower prices near the 20-day moving average? Are they getting out? And maybe that's why we're creating these Y points of control here. And now that's just speculation. There's no way of really knowing. But if that theory is true, then at some point in time we should roll back over. If obviously if the selling pressure, kind of picks up a little bit more, and there is no more demand at these higher prices, we should at some point in time come back lower and get the weekly back into a balance at some point in time. I'm not saying that's going to happen right away, rather even soon, but whenever I see Y points of control near lows, in a balance near low prices, tend to we tend to see big bounces up after we've had a recent pullback. Same thing on the upside. When we have wide points of control, when we're in balance and we've just had a big run up, we tend to roll over back to the downside. So here we have it. I said I was going to try to make this quick. Doesn't look like it, but we're going to try to run through it. High of day, 53.21. Balance high, 53.2275. So buyers want to open above 53.1175, the 11Y point of control. If we do that, we should have no issue taking out the balance high. If we do happen to fail up here again at the balance high, look to rotate over, get 53.1175, get below that. You have, 53.0325, and then the price spike at 52.94, and then a vacuum and a magnet down to the non-Y point of control, 52.7725, and then the low of day at 52.7075, and our balance low at 52.63. And I'll update that on the daily chart here in just a second. So buyers want to open above 53.1175. Really, they love to hold above 5,300 if they can and take out this balance high. If we open above 53.03, say we open below the 11-watt point of control, we open above 53.03 but cannot take out the day's low, you will rotate up to 53.1175 and then test the balance high. And once again, you fell there, same scenario. You look to rotate back to the other end of the range, which would be down here, and you have a magnet just kind of sitting there waiting. Same thing down here, another magnet, 10Y point of control at 52.4225. All right, now let's go ahead and look at the larger time frames. Let's go ahead and look at the monthly. Break that down right quick. Nothing's really changed on it as we do continue to one time frame up. We've been one time framing up 1, 2, 3, 4 months in a row, and from a previous high to the previous high to the next high, we've had really good extension. All right, so in the monthly, the trend is really strong technically, because we do continue to get really good extension above previous time frames high. Right, we got really good extension above this high in the balance high. We got really good extension above this high. We got really good extension above this high. We got really good extension above last month's high as well. So we would like to see the trend continue, on the upside potentially. If we could see that trend start to slow, if we have a smaller and tighter range, maybe have an inside month come next month, and we don't take out the previous month's high up here, which would mean in the weekly, we would have to have the weekly go from up back to balance. So far this week, we have an inside week. So if you would like, you can say that this week, or that the weekly has gone from up to balance and call it a 2-week balance if you would like. I will not say that the weekly is in a balance until we take out a previous time frame's low. So next week, because this range is rather small actually, this range, the smallest actually of, we haven't had a range this small since we've been one time framing up really. The second smallest would be 60.75. This week's range 58. So Small range, it would not be difficult to take out both sides of this range. And it definitely would not be difficult to take out this week's low at 52.63, which is going to be our daily balance low. So in the daily, right, it's all baby steps, it's all dominoes. If we start to take out the daily balance low, we would also be taking out a weekly low. The weekly would come back to balance. The daily would begin to go down. And then we start to wipe out some weak longs and get a nice little pullback and potentially see what we get on that pullback, right? It would not be unhealthy for this market to pull back a couple hundred points, consolidate for a little while, find some longer time frame buyers, and then rotate back up with good health. That's what you want to see in the market. And here is our daily time frame. Like I said, we're going to be updating our daily balance here, but the daily is in a nice little balance here. We're going to update this area here to our daily balance low. We're going to update this to the daily balance low right there. Boom. We're going to get rid of this one. Oop. We're going to get rid of this one. See ya. So there you have it. Daily in a nice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 day balance between 53.2275 and 52.63. We continue to rotate between the two until we take out either a balance high or a balance low. All right. So far, we've tested a balance high, got crickets. We've tested a balance low, got crickets. So you want to see at some point in time this market begin to roll over. And like I said, if we do take out 52.63, you'll be taking out this week's high or this week's low, bringing the weekly back to balance, and then you will be one time framing down in the daily, and we would potentially come back down to the 20-day moving average, which has held several times in the past. 20-day moving average sitting right around 52.17, 50-day moving average around 50.76. Like I said, would not be unhealthy to have a nice little pullback from a weekly standpoint and maybe hold above the 5,200 level, and we trade between 5,200 and 5,300 for a little while in the weekly before we begin to rotate on another leg up. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I know I said this was going to be short. It is not. I lied. Ha, joke's on you. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a happy Easter, and see you.